Hey, this is Scott Cole of ScottColeGolf.com and YourGolfSwingFix.com, and I just wanted to take a look at Webb Simpson's golf swing real quick. He's just won this past weekend, over Labor Day weekend, and that's his second win in less than a month. So he's clearly on a roll, and I believe now he is at or near the top of the FedEx Cup standings. He's been incredibly consistent this year. In fact, probably should have 3 wins under his belt. He lost to Bubba Watson in a playoff earlier after having to call a one-shot penalty on himself on a green when he addressed the ball and the ball moved. So this kid has been on a roll, and I want to take a look at his golf swing. Mainly because he's got some similar elements in his swing as I do in mine. And when I was growing up, a lot of people felt I was too wristy in my swing, and you just couldn't be consistent swinging that way. So I never had real good instruction or instruction that embraced what I was creating in my swing, which is exactly what Webb Simpson does. So he's obviously proven that you can have quite a bit of wrist action in your swing and be consistent, and I believe Ben Hogan also created quite a bit of lag in his swing. So let's have a look. The first thing I'd point out is a little unusual in Webb here with his driver, and this is from the US Open this summer. He puts the ball back quite a bit in his stance compared to what most people do, or most players do, and I just want to point that out. That's obviously something he's comfortable with, and you know, there's, as long as you're hitting it in the fairway and you're hitting it long, there's you know, more than one way to skin a cat. So let's have a look at this swing. Otherwise, his setup is real strong here. I really like the setup. So we're not going to get into too big a detail with this, but let's just check out this swing. Nice one-piece takeaway, arms, shoulders, everything moving back in unison. And look at the extension going back. You know, he's basically very extended, fully extended here. He's creating a lot of width in his backswing, and that's what we want to do. He's also turning nicely into his right side, and creating a lot of leverage there. This is what most amateurs don't do, even though they might get a hip turn. They sway too much away from the ball, but he is not doing that. So now, one thing I do want to point out with his swing, which does require a little bit, you know, he does have to make sure that his timing is on because of this one just little item. His shoulders right now are basically done turning, but his club is not done with the backswing. So he's got a little bit of a run off with his hands because they're still going to hinge some more into the backswing, and that's actually something that I do a little bit too. And it does require that you be on top of your tempo quite a bit, but it doesn't take long to get it back. You know, if you not hit balls for a day, you know, for a week or two or whatever, you know, it only takes about a day to get the timing back. So just have a look. His shoulders right here are about done turning, and the club keeps on going. Now at the same time, what Simpson does here And this is what most amateurs really need to learn. A lot of people try to get a pause at the top of their backswing, and that's a huge mistake because you're trying to create momentum throughout your swing. And the downswing should actually begin unwinding with the lower body before the upper body is done completing the backswing. And Simpson does this very well. So you can see that he's starting to already get that lean with his lower body going forward before his upper body, before his hands have completed the backswing. Just take a look at that real slow. He just starts unwinding. Now this is where in the next few frames you're going to see this incredible lag that he creates in his swing. You can already see how high his hands are here. And this is another issue that most amateurs don't really get with their swing. A lot of people want to initiate the downswing with their arms and their hands, and everything should be done with the lower body at this point. And watch as he does that. He starts his unwinding and transferring his weight to his front foot. Just watch what the hands do. They're just dropping. He's unwinding. The arms are just following the body. Now this position here is pretty reminiscent of Hogan. Sergio Garcia does this well. Phil Mickelson gets a tremendous amount of lag like this as well. That angle here with the club compared to his left forearm. That is a tremendous store of energy right there. Now that requires tremendous flexibility in the wrists. Most tour players are actually going to have their club angled in here or straight up and down. You know, no worse than straight up and down. Some of them are going to be in there, anywhere from here to on up here. Whereas a lot of amateur players already, they'll get the club going away from the body when that forearm is parallel to the ground. That means they're releasing the hands too early, and at impact they have no leverage at all. Now watch how long he holds this angle. Let me undo these lines a little bit. I mean, this angle here now is incredible to be able to maintain that. And a lot of teachers in the past would have identified that as a flaw. They'd basically say, oh, you're too wristy. Your swing is too handsy. You're going to have to rely on too much timing to be consistent. Well, if anybody has proven that theory wrong this year, it's Webb Simpson, because he has been consistent all year long. That position there, look at where his hands are. His hands are just about even with the ball, and the club is nowhere near the ball. So at the very last instant, that club is going to get to the ball. And this is just incredible speed that he's able to generate with this move. You can see the flex in that club shaft. And then a nice extension through and balanced follow through. He rotates around with the hips, finishing square to his target. And if I'm standing behind him at this point, if he picks up his right foot, he's not going to fall over. So this is where you want to finish your golf swing. This is a really good swing, and you know, Webb Simpson has a gift of having very flexible wrists because he's not a real big guy. He's not a real athletic, strong guy, but he hits it a long way and hits it straight, and it's because he's got a great golf swing. So we'll look forward to watching him win for a long time, I think.